There are moments in international football where a single squad announcement changes everything, where careers are defined, dreams are crushed, and fans spend the next 3 days arguing on the internet. Today was one of those days. Thomas Tuchel stood at Wembley Stadium on the morning of May 22, 2026, and named the 26 men who will carry England's hopes at the FIFA World Cup this summer. And if you thought this squad announcement was going to be straightforward, that Tuchel would simply pick the best players, everyone would nod along, and that would be that, then you clearly haven't been following English football very closely. Because what happened today was anything but simple. Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Harry Maguire, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Morgan Gibbs-White, Levi Colwill, Lewis Hall, Adam Wharton. These are not fringe players. These are not journeymen. These are some of the most talked about English footballers of the last 2 years, and none of them are on the plane to North America. Meanwhile, Jude Bellingham is in. Noni Madueke earned his place. Ivan Toney gets the call. Marcus Rashford is going to his first World Cup, and Harry Kane, as ever, leads the squad as captain. Some of these decisions make complete sense. Others are going to spark a debate that runs right up until England kick off their Group L campaign against Croatia on June 17th in Dallas. So let's go through all of it. The selections that surprise people, the snubs that will sting, what Tuchel is actually trying to build, and whether this squad is genuinely capable of ending 60 years of hurt for English football. Because this is the 2026 World Cup, the biggest tournament in football history, and England haven't named a squad this controversial in years. So what is Tuchel really thinking here? Before we get into the specific names, it's worth reminding ourselves how we got here. Thomas Tuchel was appointed England manager in October 2024, officially taking charge on January 1, 2025. He had won the Champions League with Chelsea. He had managed at the highest level in Germany, France, and England. The Football Association brought him in to do one thing: win a World Cup. From the moment he took the job, Tuchel made clear that he had a specific vision. He wanted a squad with clearly defined roles. He spoke about a number 6, a number 8, and a number 10 in midfield. He wanted 2 players for every position. He wanted tactical clarity and squad chemistry over individual brilliance for its own sake. That philosophy has now been tested against a preliminary list of 55 players, which was submitted to FIFA on May 11th. And over the past 3 weeks, Tuchel has made some of the toughest calls of his entire managerial career. England are in Group L at the 2026 World Cup, alongside Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. Their opening match is June 17th in Dallas. They play Ghana on June 23rd in Boston, and they round off the group stage against Panama on June 27th in New Jersey. The final, for context, is on July 19th at MetLife Stadium, also in New Jersey. This is a very winnable group. England should be expected to qualify comfortably. But as every England fan knows, expectation and reality are 2 very different things. England's squad needed to be built not just to get through that group, but to go deep into a knockout tournament against the best teams in the world. That's the lens through which every decision today has to be understood. Here's where things get interesting, because the biggest story coming out of today's announcement isn't who made the squad, it's who didn't. Cole Palmer didn't make it. Let that sink in for a moment. The Chelsea midfielder, who has been one of the most creative, most clinical, most talked about players in English football for the past 2 seasons, is not in Tuchel's World Cup squad. His club teammate, Levi Colwill, is also out, and his Chelsea connection ends there because Noni Madueke, a player many would not have predicted, did make the cut. The Palmer decision is the one that will generate the most heat. He's been extraordinary for Chelsea. His numbers are difficult to argue with. But Tuchel clearly sees the squad through a tactical lens that doesn't have a natural place for Palmer right now. Whether that's about pressing intensity, positional fit in a specific system, or something more complex is hard to say. What we do know is that Tuchel made this decision, and he made it deliberately. Phil Foden is also absent, another Manchester City star, another player who has had World Cup experience, who many fans considered a guaranteed selection. He is not going. Then there's Harry Maguire. This one is personal. Maguire actually came out publicly and said he was, in his words, shocked and gutted by the decision. He won 66 caps for England. He played in the Euro 2020 final. He was part of the squad again as recently as March when he started the friendly against Uruguay. He's had a solid season for Manchester United, and yet, when Tuchel finalized his central defensive options, Maguire wasn't there. That's a hard thing to process as a player, and it tells you something important about Tuchel's mindset. He isn't sentimentally attached to anyone. He picks on what he believes fits his system, right now, in this tournament. Past service is acknowledged but not rewarded with automatic selection. Trent Alexander-Arnold also missed out due to injury, which is a significant blow. The Real Madrid midfielder turned fullback has had a remarkable career trajectory and would have added something genuinely different to England's options, but injuries make decisions for you sometimes, and that appears to be the case here. Morgan Gibbs-White, the Nottingham Forest captain who has had a brilliant domestic season, didn't get the call. Adam Wharton, who was one of the stories of Euro 2024, is also absent. Harvey Barnes is not included. Danny Welbeck and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who between them scored 27 Premier League goals this season, have both been left behind despite their clubs publicly backing their cases. This is not a timid list of omissions. Tuchel has cut players that other managers would have found very difficult to leave out, and that tells you a great deal about the kind of manager he is. But there's another angle here, and it matters as just as much as the snubs. Think about who did make it. Jude Bellingham is in the squad, and that's the kind of selection that changes a team's ceiling. Bellingham at his best is one of the most dynamic, most complete midfielders in global football. He can arrive late into the box, he can press high, he can carry the ball, he can score in the biggest moments. If England are going to make a serious run at this tournament, Bellingham being fit and in form is probably the single most important factor. Declan Rice is there, Bukayo Saka is there. Both will be at their second World Cup. Both are at a point in their careers where they understand how to operate at this level. This will be a more experienced, more settled version of both players compared to 2022 in Qatar, where England went out in the quarterfinals. Marcus Rashford is in the squad, and this is a genuinely interesting story. Rashford had a difficult period at Manchester United, well documented, widely discussed. His form dropped, his confidence dipped, and there were real questions about whether he'd ever get back to his best. But he has turned things around, and Tuchel has rewarded that. A World Cup gives players a stage that is unlike anything else. If Rashford arrives in North America with the right mindset, he could be a real threat. Ivan Toney is in. Toney, who missed Euro 2024 through suspension. Toney, who has had to work his way back into the England picture. He's a powerful presence in the box, offers something physically different to Kane, and gives Tuchel genuine options up front. And Harry Kane leads the group as captain. Kane has scored goals at every major tournament he's attended. He's the all-time England top scorer. At 32 years old, this is almost certainly his final World Cup, and you can be sure he will approach every training session and every game with that understanding. That kind of hunger and experience at the top of your attacking line is invaluable. Noni Madueke's inclusion is the selection that perhaps most clearly reflects Tuchel's personal stamp on this squad. Madueke has pace, directness, and the ability to take on defenders in wide areas. He's not the most celebrated name in the squad by any means, but Tuchel clearly sees something specific in what he brings. That kind of faith from a manager can do extraordinary things for a player's confidence on the biggest stage. This matters because history offers a useful mirror here. England at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar went out to France in the quarterfinals. They were competitive, they showed quality in moments, but they lacked a real cutting edge in the big games when it mattered most. At Euro 2024, they reached the final, losing to Spain. That team was often criticized for not playing fluid, attractive football, but they found a way to win games when they needed to. That experience lives within this current squad. What's different about 2026 is the expanded format. 48 teams means more matches, more variety of opponent, and a longer road to the final. It also means that mistakes in the group stage can be absorbed more easily, in theory. But it also means the tournament is an exhausting marathon, and squad depth becomes even more critical. Tuchel understands this. His squad construction reflects it. He's chosen players who can perform specific functions within his system rather than simply picking the most talented individuals available regardless of fit. Whether that proves to be the right approach will only become clear once the games start. The historical context that follows England into every major tournament is the 60-year wait since 1966. That pressure is real. It lives in the conversations between fans before every tournament. It shapes the media coverage, and it inevitably finds its way into the dressing room. The question is whether this England group, under a German manager who carries no emotional weight from 1966, can somehow approach this differently. For the players themselves, arriving at a World Cup in North America is a different experience to anything most of them have had before. The 2026 tournament spans 3 countries, the United States, Canada, and Mexico, across 16 cities. The distances are enormous. The heat and humidity in some venues will be a real factor. England's warm-up camp will be in Palm Beach, Florida from June 1st, which gives the squad time to acclimatize to the conditions. They'll then move to Kansas City as their tournament base on June 13th, 2 days before the group stage begins in earnest. For the players who didn't make it, Palmer, Foden, Maguire, Gibbs-White, and the others, watching this tournament from home is going to be one of the hardest experiences of their careers. Some of them are young enough that another World Cup in 2030 remains a realistic possibility. For others, this may have been their last genuine chance. For the fans traveling to North America, there's a different kind of energy building. England supporters have been through so much, so many near misses, so many penalty shootout heartbreaks, so many campaigns that started with hope and ended in pain. But the support never wanes, it never dims. And in the enormous stadiums of the United States, with the Premier League's global fan base fully behind them, England games at this tournament are going to have an extraordinary atmosphere. There's something genuinely different about going into a World Cup with a squad that has experience of a final. The players know what that pressure feels like. And while losing a final is painful, the knowledge that you can get to that stage is its own kind of confidence. So where does all of this leave England heading into the tournament? The squad is strong enough to win the group comfortably. Croatia, Ghana, and Panama present challenges, but none of them should stop England from progressing. The real test begins in the round of 16 and beyond, where the quality of opposition will increase sharply. If Bellingham hits the ground running, if Saka stays fit, if Kane gets the service he needs, England have the tools to go very deep in this tournament. Tuchel's tactical organization tends to make teams hard to beat, and his ability to manage big characters in a dressing room is well established. The areas of concern are real, though. The absence of Palmer and Foden removes a certain type of creativity that England don't have in abundance elsewhere. If the team goes through a difficult patch in the knockout rounds, the pressure to produce something different, something unexpected, will be intense. There are also questions about the fullback positions. With Alexander-Arnold injured and Hall not included, Tuchel's options in wide defensive areas are less certain than in other parts of the pitch. In the knockout stages against the best attacking teams in the world, that could become a significant tactical issue. And then there's the bigger picture. FIFA's 2026 tournament is already shaping up to be one of the most followed, most commercially successful events in football history. The infrastructure across 3 host nations, the expanded format, the sheer scale of it, this is the World Cup that will define a generation of players. Whoever lifts that trophy in New Jersey on July 19th becomes part of football history in a way that very few things can replicate. England have been close before. They know what close feels like. The question that Tuchel now has to answer, the question the players have to answer, is whether close is good enough, or whether this is finally the time. So that's the full picture on England's World Cup 2026 squad. 26 players named, a group of genuine shocks, a number of painful snubs, and a manager who has made every decision with a clear, specific idea of what he wants to build. What do you make of it? Are you happy with Tuchel's choices, or is there someone missing from that squad that you believe could have made the difference? Let us know in the comments. And a particular one, Cole Palmer's exclusion. Is Tuchel right to leave him out, or is this a selection England will come to regret? The group stage starts on June 17th. Croatia in Dallas. The squad has been named. The countdown is real. If you found this breakdown useful, hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel grow, and it lets us know you want more World Cup coverage like this. Subscribe if you're not already here, because between now and the final on July 19th, we are going to be covering every angle of this tournament. Every squad controversy, every tactical breakdown, every storyline that matters. England are heading to North America. The 60-year wait goes on, but it never goes away.